All right, Jeff, many thanks for your call. I'm going to get someone else on because she's been hanging on for a while. Let's go to Heather, who's in Halifax. Heather, you're on Talk Sport and Talk 107. You're through to George Galloway in Lebanon.
Hi, George. I wasn't happy with your last caller's comments. Never before in the history of politics, and the fact that 37 Labour councillors have defected to the Liberal Democrats must send a clear message in this country that the government is a disgrace with the amount of bloodshed that is going on. And until this last 6 years, I used to be proud to be British. Now I feel totally ashamed. And both your callers, both last night and tonight, of Labour activists, basically speaking on behalf of the Israel problem, none of them have actually said that the deaths of any lives is a sheer waste. And I don't care whose fault it is. The fact that innocent people, children, are dying without anybody being accountable for it is an absolute disgrace, and I am ashamed to be a British person today in the year 2006.
Heather, I ask you not to be ashamed to be British. We should be ashamed of our government. We should be ashamed of the role that our Prime Minister is playing. But I honestly believe, and this programme notwithstanding, though the clear majority of callers, which as Duncan said, have been put through randomly, we don't know, I certainly don't know, I'm sitting here in Lebanon, what they're going to say, but I'm absolutely clear that most people in this country agree that Tony Blair has made Britain a hated country, and we don't like it. We don't want it. We don't want to be hated. We don't want to see our flag burning. We don't want our interests to be damaged. We don't want to be afraid for our children to travel overseas. We don't want our children to be cancelling their gap years abroad in case someone kills them because they're British, because of the actions of Tony Blair. Tony Blair's government has less support today than Labour has had for almost 20 years. The Tories have moved 9 points clear in the opinion polls, even though Tony Blair has had a perfect storm of an economic 10 years and has had 3 landslide Labour majorities. He's thrown it all away. He's thrown it all away in pursuit of the fool's gold of George Bush's approval. And I think at the Labour conference next month, we're going to see the end of the Blair premiership. So hang on in there, Heather. Hang on in there. Things are going to change.
Heather in Halifax, many thanks for your calls. We've had many texts and emails coming over the last couple of hours, George. Some just elaborating on various themes and echoing other views we've had on the air since 8 o'clock. But one that's really caught my eyes from Stephen Bailey, who says, Duncan / George, I worked in South Lebanon in 2000 after the Israeli withdrawal. I worked as a nurse in clinics in the very villages that have been destroyed, as well as training village girls to be nurses to help care for their people. At that time, Israeli jets and helicopters violated Lebanese airspace every day, and so far since that time have refused to hand over maps of their minefields in the south. I loved my short time in Lebanon. The people treated me very well, even to the point of wanting to look after me. The country is very beautiful, and I would give the chance to return to help with its recovery. A very poignant email. I think you will agree.
Very poignant. And this issue of the landmines which Israel left during, and I stress this, during its 18 years of illegal, violent military occupation of fully 1/3 of the Lebanon. When we're talking about international law and so on, 1/3 of the country was occupied for 18 years despite innumerable United Nations resolutions demanding that Israel should go. They sowed a huge field of landmines in the south of Lebanon, and they absolutely refused to hand over the maps. So every day, sheep, and every few days, shepherds go up in the air, dead and maimed as a result of landmines left by Israel that they will not tell Lebanon where those landmines are.
And I'm interested in your views, and this is something that I'm sure you talked to James about last night, about the Amnesty International report that came out during the week. A report by Amnesty International accuses Israel of deliberately attacking civilian targets in Lebanon during the recent conflict. The report revealed that the Israeli Air Force launched over 7,000 raids in Lebanon between July 12th and August 14th, while there were 2,500 bombardments by the Israeli Navy. And it goes on to say that many of the attacks were without evidence evident strategic significance? I mean, I know the answer to this, but you've seen it with your own eyes over the last 48 hours.
Well, you've taken the words out of my mouth. I have just been looking at it all day today and all day yesterday. You look at a school that's completely demolished. You look at a hospital that's been severely damaged. You look at people's houses without number. I mean, I could not count the number of civilian houses that have been utterly destroyed. And not by precision weapons, Duncan. The bomb I was standing next to, and you'll be able to see its picture, I hope, in the papers tomorrow, me standing next to a large bomb. It's a dumb bomb. It's an old bomb. It's dated 1983. It's an old munition that's just dropped out of a plane. It goes anywhere, and when it explodes, it tears people apart with high explosive and sheets of razor sharp, red-hot steel. It's a dumb bomb dropped by dumb governments in a dumb cause.
Okay, George.
The people on the receiving end of it are torn to pieces. And that's what we've got to change. It's been marvellous, Duncan.
Thank you very much for your time, George.
All the listeners go in peace.
Back next Saturday and Sunday evening from 8 in the evening on Talk 107 and Talk Sport. Thank you.
Brace yourself for the mud, the blood.